Well, hello everyone. Before we get started, I'd just like to give everybody a heads up and remind everybody to be vigilant about what you read and false information that you may hear, and take everything with a grain of salt. Everything you could ever think of is true and it's false at the same time. You're going to have to start really, every moment's going to be using your discernment, because there's right and wrong with everything, and left and right and up and down, and take California wildfire, take for instance. You know how it got started? A little shady. They got one suspect, right? An African-American homeless man, supposedly. This is just what I've been paying attention to it, okay? Here and there. So this is what I know about it, right? So that they've got that going on. They've got one suspect. It happens to be a homeless black guy that did the whole thing with a blowtorch. I don't know. So I don't know all of the story yet. But I do know there's a lot of false bullshit coming out about it, too. There are organizations just ready to hop on any kind of disaster that happens, and it automatically assumed that it was the Illuminati or the Bilderberg Group or the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Hollywood elites, these elites, the globalists, you name it. The hit list continues. It goes on and on and on, the hit parade, right? So here's the thing I do. Here's one of the things they were debunking it, trying to debunk it and shit in an article I read. Here's one thing I do know is true, though, about the debunking. Supposedly Oregon firefighters were not allowed down there because California is, kind of that liberal state that it is, because it has tough admission laws. Well, Oregon's got some pretty goddamn tough ones too. So some shit that'd be usable up here, more than likely it would down there too, and they wouldn't get that picky, and they're not, because I know a guy, he's a firefighter, or I grew up with her, with his wife. He's down there, and the thing is, they let him in, and it said so on the news, and, they come up with this shit. It's a left-leaning state, because it's got all these tough admission laws. Well, Oregon's a pretty liberal state, too, really, all in all, politically. The big cities are, bigger areas are, and that's enough to basically control the vote in the state. Okay, so in Washington, same thing. All three West Coast states, whatever you think about it or not. Okay, so fine. What I'm getting at, though, is that it'd be a stretch, especially in an emergency, that anything Oregon had couldn't, be legal down there, or at least close to it, right? And they're down there right now. They're fighting the fires, these Oregon guys. But right away, come out with this shit. Gavin Newsom, the governor, okay? Say what you will about him, whatever, okay? It's just politics is politics, hey? Well, supposedly, he and a land developer, he's in on it with this land developer who wanted the Palisades burnt down so they could build real estate upon it. Okay, how did they know that? First of all, how did they know that? That these are all possible things, and this is all shit that does go on, people. In different forms. So, but burning down all that shit, and with the business deals that dude's probably already got as well. Whatever, but I would ask, where are you getting this? And when people post shit like that, I'm thinking, where did you get that from? Where did the person and how do you know they're telling the truth? Have you done any other research? Have you looked into at least the rest of it, so you can have it kind of clear in your mind? Maybe it isn't everybody's gonna tell you from their own slanted point of view, but if you see somebody, you're quick to want to read something where, oh, this was debunked, that was debunked. But if the debunking's debunked, a lot of people aren't wanting to hear that. Like if an actual national news outlet, like CBS or somebody, right, if they report on something, oh, it's just fake news, right? Well, yeah, it doesn't matter sometimes, but the devil's always in the details. I know they did a pretty good job talking about a lot of these idiots that come out with false information, and they don't know. And all they're doing is, hell, they could be triple disinformation agents. They could be putting out there so that you'll think it's so crazy. Some people think it's so crazy that, it couldn't possibly be true when it is going on, right? Or it could be overzealous people that don't really have the facts yet. And how in the hell would they know that quick? And, these aren't, these independent people putting this shit out on social media. These are not, you know, people that have necessarily had the access to run a LEDS report on a computer, which is, you know, kind of a background, it's a background check, but, you know, they can tell where you're at right now, what you're doing, what your address is, all that shit, you're in the database, right? Well, I mean, how did they know that, though, this stuff? You know, they knew right away. They were already up on these stories, like, the fire hadn't even been broke out a day, and all this shit was coming out. I mean, think about it. How would you, man, you must be, I mean, dude must be really in the know. You know, I mean, go look back at some of their old shit they posted. Did that come true? No, I mean, a lot of this shit doesn't, and so it's very important to use discernment, okay? Because everything you could think of is real. You know, eventually virtual reality will be so good, in fact, that, man, you know, you won't know if you're in Tahiti or you just went into the virtuality room you have and you know, you spent a few weeks there. Like, literally, hundreds of years from now, can you imagine? We're on other planets already, way since, with their consciousness moving the technology that far. But what I'm getting at, too, with that is, too, like with AI, how we have it now, too, and believe me, if you've heard me talk before, I'm a big fucking fan of AI, actually. I'm a huge fan of it. With good people using it, shit, man, it's a miracle, modern-day miracle. Pleiadians use it. Well, oh, sure they do, through consciousness, and that's how they use their consciousness, meditations and shit like that, to hone into ideas on how to design this shit. They, you know, they turn an idea into reality through consciousness. You know, with materials. So, you know, I mean, anything's true, right? AI videos, you take AI videos, you look at them closely, some of them, don't the trees look a little funny in the background? I mean, it's just subtle shit that I notice. You know what I mean? Sometimes something looks out of place, or like it was, I don't know, put in there or taken out. I can't really give any examples, but I've noticed it. But it's getting better, and, you know, the way it is now, it's so good that shit. I mean, I could be duped in a New York fucking second. I'm not an idiot. I mean, I realize that. So the bottom line is, anything you could think of is true, and anything you could think of never happened, but it always has happened. So any possibility in any scenario you're in, if you understand that, you know, and know it, but again, don't give it a lot of energy. Don't sit there and dwell on it with every situation you're in, like overthink it. No. Know it. You don't have to engage your energy in any of this shit, but what you should do is you should look at it once and know it. And then, you know, be done and move on. But keep everything, you know, in your mind, and anything's possible. We're all just mere humans, seriously. Well, I mean, we're souls of the Creator. We're humans from other planets, too, but, you know what I mean? We're all beings. And so, that's just the way it is. I'm going to go ahead and quit talking about all that, but use your discernment. Okay, oh, here's another story, kiddos. Star babies. So Zuckerberg, I'm sure a lot of people already know this, right? So Zuckerberg is eliminating the contract with his third party, you know, fact-checking system he uses for Facebook. Somebody just the other day, a friend of mine was complaining about, you know, it's not their job to fact-check. Well, you know what the thing is? It's really a business decision, I think, because a lot of people, they just don't like that fact-checking system. And that's their, you know, good or bad. Hey, the majority rules, I think. And so he sees it as a business deal. He knows these other, you know, sites are coming on, and, you know, he's got to kind of get with it, or, you know, who knows? I mean, mass exodus from Facebook, I don't think so, quite that bad. But, you know, he wants to still stay on top of the game, which it is still the #1 game in town for what I do. If you post shows and need access to a long, drawn-out paragraph or a comment or a post, or, you know, the timelines and news feeds easy, you know, it still is. These others have a few wrong with them, and I've said it a million times. I ain't gonna go into it again. Talked about it, I think, again last night. I bored people with it. But so they're getting rid of that fact-checking organization. They use the third party. I mean, they're terminating their contract with them. They're not. It didn't say, and I didn't get the impression at all, not even in the slightest, that they're going with another one. I think they're getting rid of it. Period. A lot of Facebook people complain about it. So, I mean, it'll even be more of a, you know, the only thing, like, for somebody like me that I'll notice about the whole thing is you'll see a lot more bullshit posted. you know, this, that, you know, like, you know, or this conspiracy, that conspiracy. You'll just see more of it, a little bit more refined bits of it, you know, that people will look at and go, that's the truth, that must be it. Yeah, well, it must be. Well, and it is in some reality, so, you know, it really is and it isn't. And it is and it isn't, and it was and it wasn't, like I always say. Yeah, I mean, you know, shit. It is what it is. People, just be aware. Don't be paranoid and dwell and trip on it, but, you know, be aware, Arcturians, Pleiadians, Sirians, Lyrians, Procyon, Antares. Also, am I forgetting somebody? Vega. Ton of them, endless ones. That's why we need to start, instead of channeling the Arcturians and stuff, we need to start channeling NGC51387L2. They're out there all alone, and nobody ever claims to be a starseed from NGC58721XY. Is that what I said? Well, anyway. Or Conocalupus. You know, pick your favorite star constellation. Pick a planet, pick a star system, whatever. Concuculus. Is it coconut? Concuculus it's spelled, I believe. Yeah, or, you know, Adair, A-D-E-I-A-R, Archimer. There's a good one. And, of course, all the numbers are out there, all alone, all lonely. You know, M2785-3, class Z1, classified .Z. That's up there, too. But you can't, don't worry, none of you are from there. That's only for the elites. Anyway, here we go. We're going to listen to what the Arcturian crystal blue angels out of that favorite dimension, the 13th. Yes, here we go. Well, some things to consider moving forward from the 13th dimensional Arcturian crystal blue angels, channeled by Larry Locken. Hello, dear souls. It has been a while indeed. Of course, you know who we are. We're from that 13th dimension, the Arcturian crystal blue angels. We've come through you today with the graciousness of our host to talk to you about a couple of things. Soul, offended by this note, or any offended by this note. Hold on, everybody. I gotta tell you something. While indeed offended by, you know who we are. We're from that 13th dimension. Yeah, we are. Okay, listen. I apologize. My cat is meowing. He is probably going on 14 years old. He's still healthy as a horse. When he was a young kitty, he could fly through the air and catch shit, and his paws, what I was told is he's probably a forest cat, because, and that makes sense, because his paws, I've never felt anybody's forearms. It's not his forearms are really like, they're not limber like a typical cat's. They're like strong and buffed out, and he's a big orange goofy cat. My daughter named him when she was little, Mr. Snuffles. She's just turned 22. That was quite a while ago. She was young then. Imagine how they grow up. Here we go. The Arcturian crystal blue angels. We've come through you today with the graciousness of our host to talk to you about a couple of things. We want to start off kind of on we hope you don't get offended by this note or anything, but we would like for you to second to go there with us. We want you to picture in your mind, take a clear look at your mind on someone who would pull a weapon and just take another's life for no reason at all. Beyond the surface of that individual taking that life. Noticing the forces shaping the earth, perhaps many influences beyond their conscious control, led them to that place. They were lacking a place of genuine love, light, or any memory of such the divine could offer. Such an entity, though capable of harming others, is ultimately a casualty of the same destructive patterns. Yes, it may be a part of your earth, it may be prevalent in your earth, in the flesh, yet it shuffles in numbness, awaiting a window, just some opportunity, just an in, to try to discover that creator within. If not in this life, then in a future incarnation. We just ask, dear souls, our sweet souls, that you try to hold a measure of compassion for such a condition. This notion extends far and wide. All you see All you never see exists within one soul, within your own framework, with your own mind. You navigate obstacles that obscure the Creator's presence. Nevertheless, that one abides in silent space within, patiently awaiting every seeker's willingness to acknowledge it. There is in fact sufficient time for every being to awaken and reclaim its birthright as a portion of the infinite. And so challenges of your current illusions that you live in are simultaneously the seeds of your greatest triumph. You have become the realm that prizes the forging of choice, whether to radiate, create outward in service, or gather light for the self. This can be no simple undertaking, my friends. Dear souls, we express our gratitude for your presence. You know that we love you so very much, and we're so into you. As much as you enjoy hearing from us, we enjoy speaking with you. Your presence in this circle, unveiling yourselves of these words, you allow us to serve. And so in serving, we likewise serve you in return. Please remember to apply your discerning hearts and keep only what rings true, only what resonates with you. You've heard that a time or two, dear souls, we know this. While setting aside anything that does not now, in the midst of your tense realm, that does not serve you, get rid of it in a hurry, dear souls. All star seeds yearn to manifest their caring nature, yet the illusions set forth in your dimension, in your reality, cloak so many in routines of anonymity, countless divisions by design. A huge portion of these souls, migrating from one system to another, seeking lessons of love, whether of self or others, they become entangled in cultural or religious dogma, frameworks that seldom reflect authentic spiritual progress. Indeed, each belief system may hold a kernel of purity of the truth, but it demands conscious devotion, not half measures or inattentive drifting. What transpires then, when the majority walk the path of easy comfortness, when it comes to them so simple, they slip into a numbness. They ignore the small guiding voice within, lost in a worldly ambitions and external validations, everything from without and not from within. We understand your frustration, especially those of you who glimpse beyond the veil, beyond the minutia of it all, just beyond. You see how a law of oneness can truly unify all hearts, only to watch so many persist in sleeping. Yet we gently urge you not to dwell overly upon their sleep, for each soul must discover its own impetus. They must discover their own way, their own journey of awakening. Let them serve only as requested and release them in love when you can. If they decline your efforts, the spiritual path in your dimension, then so be it, dear souls. This living inside this veil can be challenging. And with your intellect alone, it's not enough. Unity is what it takes. We are the same as the least of us and the same as the best of us, without putting any labels on it. Your perseverance and your continued working to fight through the illusion are so noted, dear souls. Which segues us now, dear souls, my sweet souls of earth. It segues us into continuing awakening to understanding your divine mission. As you learn more and more about it, you continue to awaken to a new understanding, a new thought form, a new way of being, a new way for your innermost truth, a truth that has long been hidden, steeped in layers of minutia, fed to you by the illusion and under the veil. These layers of forgetfulness and illusion, for some individuals, this awakening may manifest the discovery of their past lives, where fragments of forgotten experiences begin to surface. For some of you, this has been going on for quite a while. For the others, they may just beginning to surface. They involve you establishing a full conscious connection to your higher self, which is the aspect of your being that exists in a state of pure knowingness, of pure oneness, of pure awareness, and a wisdom that goes way, way, way beyond the physical realm. This mission that you're on, this path, you might say, dear souls, is deeply and extremely, we can't not underestimate this, dear souls. This is such a transformative time that you're in. This time, this process that you're in, you may say, can redefine your understanding of everything that you ever thought or could possibly think of. Yes, this process is extremely enlightening. However, it can also be extremely overwhelming. The yin and the yang of duality, huh? Many times, remembrance of your past life is not a positive memory. Instead, it can be filled with pain. Lots of trauma, unresolved emotional issues that have lingered with you into this lifetime. The veil of forgetfulness that shrouds these memories has often served as a protective banner, shielding you from disturbing aspects of your soul's history. For some, the recollection of such a past life experience can be pretty traumatic. If these memories are not properly understood as part of a larger journey, it can be a serious issue moving forward and impede your growth path. Each of you have traveled through many layers of darkness, engaging in experiences that challenge and shape your soul. Ultimately, though, you recognize and can appreciate that radiant light that you inherently are. You move forward on this mission towards liberation from the confines of physicality and darkness. As the illusion begins to fade away, you will start to glimpse into your Akashic record, which is within you again, dear souls. One download away from having it opened up in your brain. Your experiences across time and space, though, especially in the recents, you have received these ancient codes. We're trying to tell you, dear souls, that it hasn't been that long in your lineage since you actually received these downloads and codes. You have them within you. It's just a matter of now getting them awakened through a download, or they're just working it out. But they are within you. It's all within you. With these codes, some are already experiencing a surge, a wave you might call, of past memories flooding back to them. Who they have been throughout these many incarnations, these many different stops in the galaxy. You are learning the full truth of your essence. Every soul's journey is distinct and loaded with its own lessons. And insights, for that matter. As this illusion of forgetfulness continues to drift away, you remain committed to a path of light. Thus, you will begin to witness past events clearer, more vividly, you might say. This will definitely, I think this goes without saying, dear souls, but we'll say it. This will lead to a deeper connection to your higher self, your overself to the cosmos in general. This connection will illuminate you. It will light up that path forward. Whatever color that brick road is, whether it's yellow, tie-dyed, blue, whatever, it will illuminate that color for you. It will illuminate that path that you walk towards a fifth dimensional state of being. It is often said that one does not need to know their past lives in order to ascend. However, that's not quite entirely accurate. As you awaken fully into the light of all that is, this stage of you remembering your past incarnations, your past lifetimes, it becomes a natural part of your ascension. The veil of forgetfulness is gradually removed, allowing you to access that rich divine tapestry that is your Akashic history. Most of you, whether you consciously realize it or not, have already begun to remember fragments. Memories of past lives come in just little fleeting glimpses of another time, maybe another planet, another place, another solar system. These have a strange, vague, haunting mass appeal to you, deep souls. These memories when they come flooding back to you. Perhaps you meet somebody, say that you just click with them. You encounter a situation that echoes a past event, only that past event wasn't in this lifetime. Often what you term as deja vu is actually a sign that the soul is remembering something. You also may find yourself in a location you've never visited. You've never been there in this lifetime, yet it feels so authentic to you. It feels so real. It feels like you've walked that street before. It feels like you've been in that place before. These are significant indicators that you are beginning to remember. Unfortunately, far too often, dear souls, your sweet souls, a lot of you will just dismiss these moments as mere figments of your imagination, not realizing the whole time the significance of that memory. You have likely experienced thousands of lifetimes, whether on Earth or on other planets. Each of them have played a key role into who you are, into where you're going as well. Regardless of the nature of what that may be, you are here at this point in time to elevate your consciousness, your awareness, your all-knowing, elevating your vibrational spectrums. Picturing yourself leaving the human experience as you find yourself transitioning to higher 6th and 7th dimensional spectrums, far beyond the 5th degree spectrum that humanity will reside in when you're the chosen one, when you are chosen to go there. The souls who have traveled this path before have returned to assist, and you know this. If you're hearing this, dear souls, we are just reminding you, like we always do, of things that you already know. The light workers, the way showers, the beacons of light, illuminate this path for others. Your presence is essential. You are a key part of the puzzle to this new earth. You are the light. You are the love. You are the vibration. You are that one that inspires. You uplift those around you. You are rememberable. You embrace this. You embrace this path. You have a mission to be a guiding force in the divine evolution, the divineness from the creational source flow of all that is that consciously goes. We love you so much. This has been the Arcturian Crystal Blue Angels. And with that, we depart. Thank you so much, and until next time, we'll talk to you, as you would say, in a minute.